I'm a high school student working on a 2D top-down roguelite video game in Godot, which I have been documenting on my channel for a while, was trying to upload once a month, but since the last upload it has been all quiet on the YouTube page, so I'm making this video to explain why I stopped, what I did before I decided to make this video, and my plans for the future. I stopped because I simply burnt out. It happened to me before, but this time it was different. Before I felt lost, I was only starting to learn game development, and everywhere I looked I saw a concept that I didn't understand. This time I felt burnt out because whenever a task that was very logically taxing came my way, I just pushed it back and worked on stuff that I felt like I knew how to do. That would also give people the idea that I was making some crazy progress, even though I didn't implement anything that I was adding. So ooh, I added enemies, how cool, but they don't have a place to spawn. The bear trap ability only works on one of them, and they only work inside the test scenes. Well, these weapons that I added aren't so bad, well, yeah, but at the time of adding them the inventory got broken, but I just didn't show it. By changing a few things I made the chest inaccessible, and even if it were accessible, I didn't make the weapons spawnable in the chests. So even though it seemed and might have been real progress, I didn't feel like I was moving the project in any major way. But what made it worse is that I still put a lot of time into it. I would work on it instead of doing stuff with my friends, and when I didn't work on it, I felt guilty. After I ended up making the last video, I just told myself that I would work on it once I would feel motivated again. But that time never came, and even when I planned out days that I would work on it, something would just get in the way. I was finally able to push myself and find time to work on the game towards end of May. I made some changes, but I also changed my outlook on making these videos. I used to make changes until I felt like I had enough material to stretch it into a video, but now I want to make changes that I will feel proud of showing you. What I understand now is that I'm still learning, and this is my first game. I made some projects before, but this is the first very complex one, so it doesn't need to be perfect. It should just exist, but that doesn't mean that I don't want it to be good. With that out of the way, it's time that we catch up to speed. Right now, we have the starter area, 2 accessible houses with NPCs in it, 3 playable characters, 7 weapons, potion, shoes, inventory, chest, room generation, enemies, title screen, character choosing screen, and a bunch of other shit. I made some additions, but I'm not planning on doing smokes and mirrors this time, so I'll just say it honestly. First, I cleaned up the disgusting code of Slayer and Hunter and sorted them into regions and added nodes, so working on it later would be easier. I also gave them new abilities. Hunter now has Hunter Spirit, where he can throw a tomato and if it hits, he walks faster and shoots faster for 5 seconds. Slayer now has Death Spiral. Right now it is just a damaging zone that spawns below him, but I was thinking that whenever you kill someone with it, the cooldown would get shorter. Even though I did say that I pushed things away and saying I'll do it later is hypocritical, right now my main goal is adding a game loop, so later it is. After that I fixed the inventory problem I had before. Since the inventory window is on the side of the screen and isn't some kind of overlay that makes you stop the game and all other stuff like in Minecraft, and you also access it with left click, it creates a problem. Since you also auto-attack with left click, I didn't want the player to shoot projectiles when he's just moving stuff in his inventory. The way I implemented it before is that whenever the inventory was opened, the code checked if your mouse was inside the inventory, and if it was, it changed a bool that meant that you cannot attack. But when I did that, I didn't implement it on the pop-up window that is opened when you check inside a chest, but only on the main one. So whenever you tried to use the pop-up inventory, we just close the inventory entirely. But it works now. By the way, I also sorted the main overlay code. Don't look at the line count. It may be an if statement family reunion, but it works. Next, I reworked the way enemies act. The skeleton foot soldier now just chills in place, and if he gets aggroed, he goes towards you and sends this projectile if you get close. I made the code so that there could be a different attack variation possible but I will add that later since he works okay as it is now. I didn't change the archer that much. He still does this crosshair animation and shoots at you through the walls. I just made the cooldown shorter and now he moves further or closer towards you depending on your position. I didn't change Grave Skull at all, it works perfectly as it is, it just follows the player and if it gets near it deals damage and respawns. In my past uploads I said that I wanted to add a mage enemy but kept pushing it back, but this time I decided to actually do it. I wasn't sure about the color of his coat, but just ended up on red even though the Slayer used it already. The mage is kind of an elite troop, he does a lot of attacks, has a lot of HP but just sits in place. He has 3 types of attacks to be more specific. One is a ghost that spirals around him, the second one is a damage field that spawns on the player, and the third one is a bigger AoE that spawns below him if you get too close. The thing about this project is that it is supposed to be a roguelite, so if you die you should respawn and be able to go again. Right now you technically can't die and also can't respawn. I added the death screen that shows up when your HP goes to 0, but the button that is there doesn't do anything. And since the enemies aren't spawnable, you technically don't even see the dying screen. Because of that, I decided to actually add the enemies into the generated rooms, but when trying to figure this out, I ran into a problem. In my room generation, each room is like a tile that connects to other rooms, and in the end it creates like a floor for the dungeon. Inside each room I made these blockades that would either appear or disappear depending on a coin flip before the scene was loaded. But since adding both a coin flip for the blockades and for the enemies, when I didn't even know if I wanted to keep the rooms that I had, I decided to delete the code for the blockades entirely and just add enemies into the rooms that I had. And I also made the starting room look more pretty. So now, when you enter, you can actually die. But now what? I made this Necromancer NPC a while ago, but he never actually worked properly, so I deleted him, but I still have the sprite, which I think looks awesome. My idea is that you get spawned at his place the first time you die, and then he just respawns you at the tavern. When making the starter area, I made the right side blocked, and didn't make it because I knew I would add the Necromancer there later, and I want the player to meet him upon their first death, since he is the reason you can respawn. Without him, it wouldn't be a roguelite. Anyways, I ended up making the right side of the starter area, and it looks like this. Here is where the Necromancer resides, and here I plan on adding another NPC and a training room with the dummy that I have shown in the test scenes, so that you could try out your abilities and shit. I will make the Necromancer's place more cozy and give it different textures, but for now I just used sprites I already had. I also plan on using this corner for an enchanting table where you could upgrade your character or something, but I don't know, we will see. So right now you can go to the tomb, find the enemies, die to them, and then respawn on the Necromancer's place where you have an interaction with him. And that's basically all the things I did. There was a lot of fixes that I didn't mention, but they just don't seem important to mention since I don't want to bloat this video. As I said, I want to give the game a game loop so that it can actually be played. Not even the sense that you can win, like I plan on adding a boss, but I just want to add content that you can go through. I spoke about adding a tutorial in the last video, but whilst reworking the code for Hunter and Slayer, I noticed that controlling the characters felt very awkward, so I might rethink the controls and give the characters less abilities or something else. So making a tutorial now, when I will make a lot of changes, is a stupid idea. I plan on making a testable version of the game, like a beta of sorts, and I might export it as an X file or try to put it on itch.io so that you guys can try it, but we will see, I'll figure it out. I want to get it out even if it's shit so that I can get some kind of response, so that I know what to change. So yeah, enough time spent talking, I have to get back to work. See you guys next time, might be a month, might be more, time will tell. Bye.